Hello, welcome to the second edition of Y.A.P Youth About Politics. Before I start off, I want to recap. I'm going to share my facts, I'm going to share my opinion, and I'm also going to ask at the end of my broadcast for my viewers out there to take action. I've come to realize that not many kids know how government works. There are three branches of government. There is the executive, which is the president, the legislative, which is Congress, which is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and then there is the judicial, which is the Supreme Court. How government works. Legislation, a bill, starts either in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. The bills must be passed by both the House of Representatives and the Senate. If it is, the bill goes to the president, where the president can either veto it or make it a law. If the president says no, the Senate can override it, but they have to have a 2/3 majority of the senators voting yes. What is an executive order? A rule or order issued by the president that does not require Congress's approval. If it happens to be unconstitutional, a federal judge or Supreme Court can block it. Issuing executive orders is what all presidents do. The problem is, though, with Trump is that he's issuing so many of them, and most of them hurt a lot of people and organizations, and some of them may even be unconstitutional. More about the executive orders later. Let's rewind to the beginning. So Trump's inauguration. Trump drew a crowd that was 1/3 the size of Obama's first inauguration. That was 1.8 million people. Yet Trump is still talking about his inauguration 3 weeks from his inauguration. Why is it so important to him? I mean, he's already won. It's sort of like, I remember him saying he needs to make America great again. And like, he has to seem like the bigger person. He has to seem bigger, better, and stronger than everybody else. His inauguration speech, saying it was a really dark vision of how the United States is. He said, and the crime and the drugs and the gangs, American carnage. Carnage is great destruction of life. But the thing is, though, what he's saying is like, America is like, it's the worst place to be. You should never be here. You never ever come here. It's the worst country in the world. And he's saying like it's crime and drug infested. I mean, yeah, we might still have some things to work on, but there's not drugs and crime and gangs everywhere. Something interesting to think about is, as Donald Trump was being sworn in at 12:01 p.m. on January 20th, all information about climate change was deleted from the White House website. Why? Let's think about that. Trump is a climate change denier. He believes that humans are not creating climate change. Rex Tillerson is Trump's Secretary of State. Rex Tillerson is the head of ExxonMobil, which is a gas company. Scott Pruitt, Trump's nominee for the Environmental Protection Agency, also known as the EPA, as Kansas Attorney General, sued the EPA 14 times on behalf of the fossil fuel industry. And now he's in charge of it. You can sort of see that he surrounds himself with people that want to make money off of fossil fuels. So here's another thing to think about. Approximately 1800s to 1900s, the general mode of transportation was the horse and buggy. Approximately in the 1900s, we started to burn oil and gas in cars, all the way until the present. Other inventions from the 1900s to the present are the cell phone, the computer, the TV, the car. Why are we still burning oil and gas in cars when we have advanced in so many other things? I mean, I can call China right now. I can call Japan. I can call France or Italy on this tiny little thing. And back in the 1900s, they would have no idea what this was. It's just a box with lights on it. And we're still using the same mode of transportation or way to make our cars go as we did 100 years. Why are we still using something like that? Is there something maybe people make money off of burning gas? Maybe. Donald Trump has done a lot of stuff in his first 2 weeks as presidency, and here's the list for most of them. He started the process of repealing Obamacare, issued a freeze on new regulations, withdrew from the TPP trade negotiations. The TPP is the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Froze federal employee hiring. Claimed 3 to 5 million illegal votes were cast for Hillary Clinton. Instructed Secretary of Commerce to move forward on building the new oil pipeline. Ordered investigation into voter fraud. Gave the order to start building the Mexico Wall. Issued an order to hire 10,000 immigration officers. Ordered governments to withhold grant money to sanctuary cities. And sanctuary cities are cities that can, by law, shelter illegal immigrants. Placed immigration ban affecting 7 countries that are mostly Islamic. And nominated Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court, and he's a judge with strong right-leaning conservative views. I want to elaborate on a few of those topics. One of them is the Muslim ban. Immigrants from these 7 countries that have mostly Muslims in them are now not allowed to come into the United States, with the exception of Christians. And Trump is saying that it's not a Muslim ban. Well, if you're allowing the Christians in, but you're not allowing the Muslims in, isn't that sort of a Muslim ban? I mean, you're letting the Christians in, but you're not letting the Muslims in. That's a ban on Muslims. Those 7 countries that were on the list have done nothing terrorist-wise to the United States of America. But yet, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Egypt that have actually done something to the United States, like 9/11, are not on the list. Mr. Trump, why are those countries not on the list? Is it because you have hotels in them, in those countries? There were also protests that were going on at airports all around the United States. There were people that were going to their local airports saying that this is not okay and that we should let them in. Since then, there has been a federal judge that has ruled that the ban is unconstitutional. Another one is the Mexico Wall. Is a wall on the southern border of the U.S. that keeps legal immigrants from entering the United States. So Donald Trump repeatedly says that Mexico is going to pay for the wall, when Mexico clearly stated that they are not going to pay for the wall. So who's going to pay for the wall? Well, Mexico already said they weren't. So Congress has to get the money. Where does Congress get the money? U.S. taxpayers. So guess who's really paying for the wall? We are. We are going to be the ones who are going to be paying for the wall. And Donald Trump says, oh, well, we'll get the money back because we'll do an import tax on Mexican goods. Well, who has to pay tax on stuff they buy when you go to stores? We do. So guess who's paying for it double time? We are. We're going to be the ones who are paying for the wall, and Trump has always said that Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Not really. Pipelines are pipes that transport oil across long distances, and Trump wants to move forward on building the Dakota Access and the Keystone Pipeline. The thing that they don't tell you is that it goes straight through a Native American reservation that also has an aquifer, which is like a big cavern that holds water underneath the ground. So if you put a pipe that's holding gas or oil going through a water aquifer, don't you think that's probably going to contaminate the water for millions and millions of people that are living there? Probably. Lastly, for this week, there's a trend emerging in Washington that is not holding accountable, or they're not telling the truth, which is lying. And people are using the term alternative facts, which is completely absurd because there's facts and then there's not facts. So if your teacher gives you an example like 2 + 2 = 4, which it does, and somebody else says, no, there's alternative facts. 2 + 2 = 7. No, it doesn't. There's facts, and then there's facts. Facts can be proven. There's other things that cannot be proven. My call to action for all my viewers out there for this time is to ask your parents to call your legislators and express your opinions and your views to them. Right before I go, I want to say to all the people that are watching, remember, if we pay attention, if we take action and ask questions, we will get the world we want. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.